How's everybody?
Can I slide in? Thanks.
Am I supposed to talk or somebody got a question?
We usually have Bob Hope, but he's not here.
Well, okay. Well, hey, thanks for obviously being here today to get this thing started. To see that front row full with the team that we do have here. Although it's not a big row, they were here and very attentive. We had a great meeting this morning, and we're ready to go get started.
This is what makes you leave a Final Four program for one that just went 2-14 in the SEC.
I want to be part of the solution to my university. I wasn't ready the last time this job came open. I'd only been a one-year head coach. I hadn't worked hard enough. Just like when I was a basketball player and a baseball player and trying to play football, I hadn't worked hard enough in my career at that point to advance far enough to have this job any other time it had come open. So I worked really hard at Washington, and we had some great things going, and we had great kids, and as a result, that hard work made this job now possible. And it's been I told my team in Washington that I took this job when I was 10 years old. It was 38 years ago I took this job when I got that book. It's been the job that has driven me in every decision I've made. So regardless of a Sweet 16 finish compared to a not Sweet 16 finish, I want to be part of the group that's been remembered for getting this thing to where we're all proud of it.
First goal, I guess, is making sure everybody stays around. Just talk about that, and then getting done recruiting.
Current team is obviously the first thing. Anytime you come into a new situation, taking care of the kids that have already said yes to this program. There's a lot of reasons that this job's open, and you got to go in there and figure out how many of those are reasons, and how can you heal those wounds. Are they starting to scab over? And can you heal them, or do they reopen and become wounds again? So I started with that this morning. It's been my sheer focus all day until about an hour outside of this. I literally started kind of putting some notes together 30 minutes ago, because I've been with these current team members ever since I stepped on campus. If y'all don't know, Seattle's a long way away. It's hard to get here and back, and I met with my team yesterday there, and the travel here is always, it's just a long way to come. But I've spent all day with this current team, and we'll make sure they're in the right frame of mind and where they're at, and then we'll go to the future team.
Got one, I guess.
What did you learn during that?
Well, yeah, I sit on Vic's couch a lot because I was in the film room, and when we say film room, that means there was a VCR running, and we were 1 and 2 in it to break down the film, and I got to see what Vic felt like was important to put on we only got 3 minutes of the edit because Coach Blair spent 17 of it on offense. So we only got 3 minutes as the defense. I had to learn from Vic what was most important. And then those two guys and Amber and the other coaches that have been here helping me to become a good assistant coach along the way. Invaluable resources. I've always been the right time at the right place guy. I always have been. And the fact that room was filled with a Hall of Famer and a future Hall of Famer, 2 Final Four coaches. We teased Vic because he got his last. Coach Blair got his first, and I got mine, and then Vic got his third. So proud of him. I hated to have to play. In our pregame handshake, we shared a moment when I said, whoever wins this game is going to could win it all, and it turned out to be right.
Speaking of Amber, just where is she and the current?
She's right over there.
Where do they fit in your
She's not going anywhere. Amber's standing right over there. I graduated next to Amber in Nicholas and Neighbors, if you put it alphabetically. I've talked to Amber today, and she's going to be here every step of the way that we're doing things.
Coach, since you've coached on the local high school center, how much more confidence does that give you?
I'm not sure any more confidence. It gives me some familiarity with the coaches. A lot of those guys are here. I'm not going to have to. I've already had their numbers in my phone book, my address book. So it gives me confidence that I can at least get in the door. It's so incredibly hard these days with recruiting that you've got to have relationships. So it'll help that I've got a strong one to start.
What was the moment like when you get introduced as the head coach?
It felt very similar to that moment when I heard we were going to the Final Four. You are numb. I know people say that and it sounds cliche, but your body goes numb. Everything you thought about you were going to say goes out your head, and then you see family and stuff. It's an overwhelming body experience, and I hope we get to experience a few more of those.
Aaliyah Wilson's asked for her release.
She has.
Have you talked to her?
I have. Met with her today, and we're working out tomorrow.
It's early, but any long-term goals for the program, short-term goals?
We learned a few years ago to burn goals. We had a team that had gone to the first round of the NCAA tournament with a really cool T-shirt that said NCAA tournament or bust. That was our goal, and we got to the NCAA tournament. We busted. We got in, but we were satisfied because of goals. So I talked to the team about the danger sometimes of setting goals instead of setting a bunch of standards and then holding each other accountable to them. We're going to try that first. We're just going to let them come up with what those standards are important to them and what a win and a loss looks like in each one of those areas of standards. And then we're going to start holding each other accountable starting tomorrow.
How much does the experience of the last 3 years for you, getting to the tournament as a head coach,
Yep.
Final Four, and then the Sweet 16, how much just valuable experience is that mean for you?
I think when this job was open 3 years ago, I could have done it, but now I know I can. We can. I know we can do it. We know what it looks like. We know what it feels like. We know what it tastes like. We even know what it smells like, unfortunately. So without that, those years of experience, the NCAA tournament runs and the deep tournament runs, I think I would have still been trying to sell a vision. I think now I can sell some credibility of what it does feel like. Obviously, we've got to earn some trust because without that, none of these experiences and me having those, it doesn't translate and transfer to this group. So we'll go to work to building the trust and see if those things can carry over.
Level of AAU ball and girls basketball and state six.
Maybe the best it's ever been. I really can't talk specifically other than that it's a good time for that, and it played a factor in my decision.
How do you sell yourself, sell the program as you go out and recruit now as the head coach of Arkansas?
So we're in trouble if I have to do that. If they don't already have a little bit of familiarity with some former players. I mean, every one of my kids said, "You coach Kelsey Plum," and I can share those. And most of the time when you're meeting a new team, you don't want to talk about other people's and your players in your past teams. But hopefully I won't have to sell. I can earn it. If I have to sell it, it's not going to be genuine. It's not going to be, I will earn that, and I'll earn it starting tomorrow in the workouts.
When you got to call your parents and say that you were coming home, what was that moment like for you?
Well, I don't know if y'all saw my mom over there, but she's got the biggest mouth that you can ever imagine in a good way. And she would have shouted from the rooftop. So I had to keep it very, very quiet. And I told her very, very late at night so that everybody would be asleep. But it was probably it made me feel like I'd made them proud. And that was special.
How much do you feel you learned from Jerry as far as promoting the program, going to all the civic groups and all the things he did?
He's the best, and I'm trying to be the second best. I'll just give you points of evidence. When we got to Washington and we were last in the Pac-12 and we left selling the place out with 10,000 and leading the Pac-12. So, he has a very clear, still has a very clear way of doing things, and I've tried to emulate and build on those and make them my own. I'm not going to be throwing candy out. He's got his own things. I've got my own things, but I think it'll be really important because it's important to our kids. It's important recruiting and all those things tie together. So luckily I was with him. Luckily, one of my first duties was trying to help drum up some excitement in the areas. I know places to go. I know things to do, things not to do. Invaluable experience.
Where you at on assistant coach's mind?
I talked to the people that are here today. I've obviously invited my staff from the University of Washington, who I've known and trusted, to come. They each have unique situations that they're going to have to work through. Although we've been talking about it for a while, and I certainly brought them in the loop the very second that I knew it was a possibility. They're going to have to, now that it's real, figure out, and I'm going to leave it up to them. So it'll take a little bit of time, but I did meet with everybody that's currently on staff today, and that becomes a little bit of a timetable based upon the staff that's at Washington. Thank you all so